Over 60 years ago, we began to work with Ferrari. What we've learned from our shared passion on the track, we've put on the road. Shell V-Power, Ferrari fuel for the road.
Shell introduction. Shell Oil is one of the largest oil traders in the world. Shell is a global group of energy and petrochemical companies with around 101,000 employees in more than 90 countries and territories. Shell helps to meet the world's growing demand for energy in economically, environmentally, and socially responsible ways. Industry life cycle. We believe that Shell, without much doubt, is in its maturity stage, and by looking at the way Shell is progressing, it is likely to remain there for a long period of time.
Threat of new entrants. It is very expensive for new entrants to enter the market. Shell is a major player in the oil industry and will be a threat to any possible new businesses. There is no real threat from new entrants because of Shell's large size and economies of scale. Shell benefits from having good distribution channels, which is hard for new firms to build and takes substantial time to reach the effectiveness of Shell's relationships with its distribution channels. Other businesses within the market sell the same products such as oil and gas, but Shell's brand loyalty portrays that their clients are repeat customers as a result of the services received. Threat of substitute products. Shell currently do not suffer from the threat of any substitute products. However, as oil prices rise higher, the prospect of substitutes look enticing. However, renewable energy resources may affect Shell in the future and may be adopted by competitors. Furthermore, we can say that Shell will need to invest into sustainable energy resources if they are to continue their success and be an important supplier of energy. Bargaining power of customers. Customers have very little bargaining power and probably no bargaining power when negotiating the prices of Shell's products and services. Prices are set and customers are expected to pay what is the set price. The firms in the industry sell almost near the same products, therefore standing out from the crowd will attract customers. At this present time, there is no substitute to Shell's products. Consequently, there is no threat currently, but may come in the future as renewable sources of energy are developed. Bargaining power of suppliers. The price at which Shell sells its products is imperative as competition within the industry is tight. Pricing of goods will determine how much Shell can sell over its rivals, and it will make the difference in terms of who is the front runner. There isn't much bargaining power for suppliers because as oil suppliers, it is costly for them to store and will want to sell it on as soon as they can. As a result, bargaining power is limited and suppliers cannot charge high prices for their oil. Competitive rivalry within an industry. Competition is fierce in the oil industry and firms compete to gain the most customers. Efficient supply chain management helps the final customer getting the product. Having great supply chains will result in selling products on faster. Shell has great economies of scale. Furthermore, if they were to expand, it will drive costs down. The effectiveness of extracting crude oil is essential to Shell's organization, as the quicker they extract it, the quicker they can sell it on as oil. Innovating new technology will be beneficial to this activity and will provide an advantage over its rivals.
Pest analysis. PEST analysis stands for political, economic, social, and technological. It includes the analysis of a framework of macro-environmental factors affecting Royal Dutch Shell. Political. The political factors can be local, national, or international. Many governments can be involved. For example, governments can ask the company to invest and make a major contribution in their economy, which they can't refuse, of course. Economic. Economic factors have large impacts. Fluctuations in the stock market or tax increases can seriously affect the bottom line of a company like Shell. The social and cultural influences of Shell vary from country to country. It is very important that factors like culture and religion should be considered. The attitude of a consumer towards a foreign company like Shell and keeping in mind the dominant religion of the host country while marketing are various social factors that needs to be taken into account. Technological. Technology is vital for competitive advantage and is a major driver of globalization. However, technology plays its role differently for Shell. Shell can mostly use technology for marketing and customer relationship management.
1. Shell's strengths and weaknesses. Shell are amongst the largest oil companies in the world, operating in countries such as Australia, Ireland, Philippines, Scandinavia, Nigeria, and other countries in the African continent and US continent. Shell's strengths are very outsized, as they have been number one provider of oil before oil companies started making a substantial amount of profit. They are a provider of 2.5% of the world's oil and 3% of the world's natural gases. Shell's weaknesses. Shell have a bad background. The oil company founder operated in bad terms at the beginning of the functioning with suppliers. This operation has caused bad publicity. A large amount of oil barrels spilt in countries operated in these countries where they get their supplies from. Also, Shell will come to terms with newcomers in the car industry, car energy / fuel companies, and as a result might struggle to stay to terms with consumers. They will fail to maintain due to change. An example of a company that have failed to keep up to date with growth is General Motors, a car company. This company didn't invest in new companies, and when Chinese car company Toyota came with new cars, General Motors slipped behind and went under pressure. In relation to Shell, this could be a result. If they do not invest in future companies, they will find it hard to maintain their status and new companies will take over.
Porter's generic strategy. We believe that Shell follows the differentiation strategy according to Porter's generic strategy. Since the customer service and the quality of the product is the main focus for Shell as compared to their competitors, so the differentiation strategy gives them the comparative advantage over their competitors. Nth of matrix. We were a bit confused doing the nth of matrix for Shell, and after all the research we came to a decision that Shell follows a market penetration strategy according to the nth of matrix. Shell is cementing its position in the market it is already operating in, because that is already on a very large scale, but on the other hand, Shell is very active in finding and discovering new oil and gas reserves. Stakeholder analysis. Shell's main internal stakeholders are its shareholders, employees and suppliers, which are of the most importance. Shareholders own Shell. They provide a large part of the capital needed to run the business. In return, they take a large share of the profits. Employees affect Shell's operations, and supply are Shell's partners in the chain of production. Then comes the external stakeholders, which are customers and communities. Shell's main external stakeholders are customers. Shell carries out market research to find out what they want. It meets customer needs through product research. Customer concern about damage to the environment is growing. This means Shell takes safety and environment issues into account in its work. Shell also invests in the communities where it works. For instance, it creates jobs and provides local resources such as health services and schools.